I've been going on this buffalo odyssey for the past few years, maybe let's say around 10 years, because I grew up as an urban indigenous person. I grew up in the inner cities of Regina and Saskatoon, you know, so I've been on this journey of discovering these other roots that I've heard about and this connection to the buffalo that we have as Tatanko Yate, right? And so I've been on this journey of rediscovering this connection that residential school and treaties have tried to erase. You know, but when I started to wonder about the buffalo and wonder what happened to them, because the wording was they disappeared or they vanished, and I was like, how was it a black hole, right? Like did like how was it like a magician? How did they disappear, right? I met another buffalo minded person, and she said that there were 125 million buffalo in North America, and so that's a lot of buffalo. What happened to 125 million buffalo? Well, one of the things that I dug up was uh, this land has been colonized for about 500 years, and in 500 years, cattle have been introduced here. And so right now in the United States, there's 90 million cattle, and they're not accustomed to this land. They have to be really looked after. Whereas buffalo, this is their land. They don't need to be looked after, and they really populate really well when brought back. You know, one of the things that we gifted to the newcomers was we taught them how to make buffalo pemmican, right? And so buffalo pemmican is when you you get the buffalo meat, you dry it, and then you pound it using those flat stones and a round stone, right, to make that dried flaky meat. And then you get berries. Over here we use Saskatoon berries. We dry the berries and we pound them too on those flat stones, right? And then you have buffalo fat. You mix all of these three ingredients together and you have like this super energy bar. And you could wash out the stomach of a buffalo, clean it out, sew it up, and there's your fridge or your Ziploc bag. And you could store pemmican for 2 years without a refrigerator. And so we taught the newcomers how to make buffalo pemmican, and that's how they survived on this land. Even so much that there was a Pemmican War, right, in near Winnipeg in 1816. You know, one of the things that happened was the building of these transcontinental railroads, and there's 5 of them, right? And so what started to happen when they would build these railroads, and as soon as they built them from one city to the next in the east side, they would put trains on them. And so in Kansas City, there's a story in the newspaper where the trains crashed. Well, what did they crash into, or what crashed into them? Buffalo, right? And so the owners of these trains were like, well, what are we going to do with these buffalo, right? And so what they started to do is they would arm the conductors and say, you shoot those buffalo ahead of you, clear the tracks. And while you're at it, you can shoot the buffalo out the windows on the left, on the right. Tell your passengers, bring their rifles. You can do some sport killing. And so that's how I think it started, was the beginning of this massacre of the buffalo, the beginning of the genocide of the buffalo. And they would kill the buffalo just for fun and leave the meat there, leave the hides there. And there was no harvesting of these buffalo. And so at the time, there were all these Indian wars happening as well. And so at the time in the 1800s, the wars were getting expensive, right? So the US cavalry is like, there's got to be another way to kill these Indians. And when they saw that these people on the trains were killing the buffalo, they said, that's how we'll do it. If we kill the buffalo, we'll kill the resources for the Indian people, and we'll hopefully kill them. And so that's what started to happen in a really short time period in the 1800s of 40 years. 125 million buffalo were killed off. And so these, maybe you've seen some of these images And I've tried to get an image of the pile of bones from Regina, right? Regina has this nickname, pile of bones, pile of buffalo bones. They even erased buffalo from our nickname. This is a map of Saskatchewan. And if you look at this map, all of Saskatchewan is treaty land. We didn't want to sign treaty. But you look at this, Treaty 5, Treaty 6, Treaty 7, Treaty 8, Treaty 10. What was happening? The people were starving. There weren't any more buffalo left. So we were forced to sign treaty. We were forced under duress because we were starving. My ancestors were starving.